Just coming off its best 3-game stretch of the season, got a week off. Just how did you kind of maintain that level and make sure that not having a game, sometimes you just want to play again and keep it going, but just throughout the week, what did you see and how are you able to keep that kind of consistency up?
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, players want to play. They're looking forward to games, so they're ready to get locked in for our next game. We had 2 off days, both Monday and Thursday. We have 2 practice days, Tuesday, Wednesday, that we could actually practice a little bit more towards us, work through some things that not necessarily for one of our specific opponents. We don't get to do that very often once you get to conference schedule. And then obviously Friday and Saturday will be geared towards LSU.
What differences do you see between this year's LSU team and last year's? And have you gone back and looked at the film from last year's SEC tournament at all?
Yeah, when we are playing an SEC team, we always go back and watch a game from last year just to refresh our memory on some of the X's and O's. Obviously, similarities first and foremost. Angel Reese, Angel commands so much attention, and she's such a big part of that team both last year and this year. The personnel is going to be different on the perimeter and around her for the most part, but they're doing the same things. They can make threes, they can get the ball on the floor, they get the ball inside, they can score from a lot of different ways. They're very, very talented.
With this difficult stretch of 3 games to finish the regular season, what are you really looking for out of the team to show you in this difficult stretch?
Yeah, I think I want to see them go out and compete. I want to see our team lock in, play for 40 minutes, play to win during this stretch. Great energy and great focus, and really be able to turn those game plans, execute the game plans. Get to a game and be able to execute on both ends of the board.
What are you looking for from your forwards going up against LSU's tough front court?
Well, I think, each player that we have on the team has different strengths, and I want them to utilize their strengths. Try to take advantage of what they have. You've got to compete. You can't be silly and give easy fouls. You've got to think ahead. I'd love to say we got to keep Angel Reese off the boards. No one has been able to do that this year, so we've got to try to limit their board production as a whole, and like I said, to be ready to be physical and compete.
The rebounding battle is going to be pretty critical on Sunday. Is this kind of the biggest test of how far this team has come in regards to rebounding?
Well, I think the rebounding is important down the stretch. I mean, we've talked about that being an emphasis for us all week, not just for LSU, but for LSU, A&M, and South Carolina. All 3 is the end, and really, as you go into postseason, you've got to be great in that category. So that's an area we've been emphasizing. It will be a huge, huge challenge on Sunday.
After the South Carolina game, you had mentioned how confident you had been going into that matchup. Where does that comfort and confidence level lie right now compared to how you felt going into the Gamecocks?
Well, fortunately, we still have 2 more practices to get ready for them. So we honestly at this point have not game planned for LSU on the court. Now coaches in the office we have, but we've got to go out and implement a game plan, let our players execute that in practice to get our comfort level up. But I feel good about our team. I really do. I mean, they're they want to do it. They're playing tough, and they just got to go out and execute. And again, it's a really, really good basketball team we're playing.
You mentioned the practices to focus on you guys. Just what did you see out of those? What did you want to see improvements in those couple practices?
Yeah, I thought we had some good moments of execution. There were some moments that I could tell we were ready to play basketball rather than practice. We worked on some tweaks, some wrinkles on both the offensive end and defensive end. I thought their energy was pretty good for the most part in those practices.
What excites you most about the last 2 opponents you have to close out the regular season?
Well, I think the SEC is so good. The SEC is so tough each and every night, and at this point, you're just excited about who you are and what your opportunities are. To me, that's what we have to look at this. We have to look at it as a great opportunity. We've got a really good basketball team on our home court, and we're going to have a great crowd. It's going to be loud. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a wonderful environment to play basketball in. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Have you had any conversations with your teammate about the margin of error down the stretch with how clumped up the SEC is?
We have talked about margin of error a lot throughout the year. We've talked about that's where we are. We have a very small margin of error throughout the year, but that's what the SEC is this year. I mean, you have to play well to win. And again, you can see from scores each and every night, there's going to be something that's a surprise or a bit of a surprise. And I think that's the SEC this year is you just see so much parity. You take South Carolina, kind of move them out of that. There's a lot of parity.
You mentioned you're excited about who this team is at this point in the season. How would you describe who they are right now?
I think they're focused. I think they're comfortable in a way that they know what they need to do. They know where we need to be, what we need to be doing. I think they're knowledgeable. And I do think they're dedicated. I want to give them toughness, but that's almost, you have to reflect back and give them that. So we've had some pretty tough moments. I want to keep that going.
After playing like you did against South Carolina, do you feel like that you've noticed that like extra air of confidence maybe, and is that important going into another big matchup like Sunday?
Yeah, I think the confidence is important going down the stretch, period. Regardless of who you're playing, I think you've got to have it. And right now, I think we do. I think we have a little bit more confidence than we had earlier in the season. And you don't just get it by wanting it and hoping you have it. You get it by working and finding some success. And our team has done that. Can we still get better? Yes. But I think just the confidence, having the confidence as a team is really critical going down the stretch.
How do you feel like playing a stretch like this to finish the season kind of sets you up for the SEC tournament in the postseason?
I don't know how you could have drawn it up in this year's league and said, well, this would have been this would be your best situation. I don't know what that would be. The league is so good, and it's a lot about matchups this year. A lot about who matches up well with who, and all we have to do is go out, worry about the next. What is next? I know that we're all thinking about it. Everybody's talking about this conference tournament time, but in my head, we've got some big games, and we're focused on that first big game. It's cliche, I know, but it's cliche and it's repetitive because it's true. I mean, we are literally taking it one game at a time, and hopefully, when we have that break between the regular season and our conference tournament, everything that we have done in the regular season will give us the experiences that we need to perform well in the tournament.
This is a pretty big matchup regardless, and there's gonna be a pretty massive crowd there Sunday. Doors opening early. Just how do you keep your team, maybe prepare them for that kind of environment, that maybe the biggest home crowd of the year?
Yeah, I think we've had some really good home crowds. I think coming off that South Carolina game, being a home game was really good for us. I think we'll talk about the crowd and how to utilize the crowd, but at the same time, you don't want it to get your emotions too high, because I think that's when you have the ups and downs. We want to try to stay pretty even. Use them when you need them, and I know our fans will show up and be there for us.
Thank you.